Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and I want to welcome you to the PublishU podcast, where we explore the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, we are talking to Colin Studley from Brisbane, Australia, who has written a book, The Genius of the Kingdom. Colin, welcome.
Hi, Matt. It's great to be with you on the podcast.
Hey, Colin, tell us a little bit about you. What have you done and what are you doing in your professional life?
Well, all my life, I've been related to leading churches. I'm 46 years now.
Wow.
One way or another, I've got a lot of memories.
Yeah, a lot of happy times, probably a few scars as well, I would
There's a few
expect.
scars. Yeah, there's a few scars there too, Matt. Yeah.
And are you born and bred in Brisbane, Australia?
No, I was born in New South Wales, and so it was a while before I got to Queensland, but I've lived in Queensland now over half my life, and in Brisbane over 25 years. So I'm really enjoying this time of the year, and also this part of the country. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of Australia. It's got that, I call it the Miami of Australia. It's
That's
always
right.
hot and humid, and even winter isn't very winterish.
I think people who come here from the Northern Hemisphere particularly scoff when I say how cool it is here.
Oh, great. And you've led local churches?
Yeah. Led local churches, started local churches, been on the staff of local churches, have coached leaders of local churches, trained leaders of local churches. So it's been my life one way or another.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why we've come to the point of this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the book is called The Genius of the Kingdom. So for those who may not be familiar, what is the genius of the kingdom, Colin? If
Yeah.
you've just met me in the elevator of a hotel and I'm somebody who may not be a person of faith, I mean, how would you explain the genius of the kingdom to me?
Yeah, that would be interesting to do it in the length of time it takes to go up a few floors in an
Yeah.
elevator. It would
Well,
be quite
let's say it's 20 floors. So you've probably got a couple of
24.
minutes.
All right. I've got your undivided attention for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I think a lot of people, particularly who've been like me and been part of a local church one way or another all their lives, have always been trying to work out, what makes that thing work so that it's useful, it's relevant, it's authentic, it's relational, it's it makes the rest of the life around it good, makes it better. Well, I think that the genius in it is certainly not leadership. Although that helps, it's certainly not good songs, although that can help too. I think the genius is the way we help people to follow Jesus and to be relevant and applicable in our dealings with people. And the genius is how you disciple them. How are they discipled to Jesus so that they become real Jesus followers, not just people who go to church.
Yeah, and I guess that can be quite a difference, can't it? You can go to a meeting on a Sunday, but is your lifestyle and life kind of in the direction of travel
Yeah.
alongside Jesus? Yeah, amazing. So Colin, you've written this book, The Genius of the Kingdom, about this subject. What is the big secret that you're kind of letting out in the book? What is the gem? If you were to give us an insight into that, what would you say?
I think that the gem I'm trying to talk about is the ability of people to really invest themselves in their communities and love people comes down to the way people are developed. And that development has to be more than just, going through outward religious rites. That's all very nice, but it's something intrinsic. It's something of a heart level. And so what I'm trying to say is that when we start new churches, we've got to get out of the habit of trying to just be religious outwardly and have a lot of, symbols and signs and songs and processes and having certain people more involved than others, all that sort of thing, and leadership and priests and all that sort of thing. Got to bring it down to the level of the average person who's doing life, sometimes doing it hard, bringing life down to that level of relationship. And so what I'm trying to do is talk about how we can start churches based on discipleship, not on services. And to do that, we've got to take time to develop people, to be real, not to be religious, but to be real, and to be, most of all, loving. I mean, just that ability to love people, to enter into life with them. So that's what I'm trying to point to, as well as a whole bunch of other things that people who start new churches will be aware of. But there's that is the key to it, I think.
Yeah. No, very, very powerful. Being real rather than religious. You heard it here, Colin Studley. There we go. So, Colin, you came to me with a manuscript. I mean, you were trying to get your book published. Was it a struggle to try and take what you'd written and get it out there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, I've never done this before. I'm excited and terrified all at the same time.
Yeah.
I've written a lot of academic work. So I just, finished my PhD, and those who had some insight into what I'd been doing just encouraged me to get writing. And I thought, oh, I can't do that. Other people do that. I don't do that. Who's going to read a nerdy kind of PhD type of writer anyway? So I originally kind of wasn't interested, and yet good friends began to, kind of encourage me to have a go. So I had a go, and the first draft was pretty awful, and so I kept working at it and working at it and working at it, and then kind of took the plunge and contacted you and sent it over. So far, the whole process has been challenging emotionally, but now that it's here, I'm excited for what it could be. And certainly the motivation at my stage of life is legacy. I want to leave something behind so that people trying to do this kind of work will be supported and helped.
Yeah. So how do you feel? You've been through this challenging process to produce your book, and now it's published. I mean, how do you feel, Colin?
Well, as I said before, it's a mixture of terror because you don't know how people are going to respond to it, and a mixture of gratitude to actually, I've done this. I've actually done it. I didn't think I could, but I've actually done it. And so there's those two competing feelings. But I'm excited because everywhere I go and talk about what I've been trying to do with this book, now that it's here, I'm excited to be able to put it in their hands and 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 encourage them to read it, and hopefully be able to make a contribution to a lot of really very fine young Australians who are doing some great stuff in our country.
Yeah. And do you think people, because your book's published globally, so what if an American or a European picked it up, Colin, or an African?
Well, that would be a treat, wouldn't it? I mean,
It would.
I'm a songwriter as well, and every now and again I hear from CCLI that there's, someone in Africa or someone in Europe, someone in the US is using things I've written, and that's a wonderful treat. That's a real great treat. So if that happens, Matt, I'll be really thrilled. Above all else, though, I only want to provide something that really help these young ones, these young leaders that we've got so many good ones.
Yeah.
And I want to stand with them. And I hope the book, now that it's here, will be a real tool for them.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, that's great to hear, Colin, and it's been a privilege to work with you to get you to this point, and take this manuscript that you wondered if anybody would ever read, and actually get it out there in a beautifully produced book. So we're so thrilled, and you can buy it online now anywhere in the world. Just go to click the button that is online, and you can check out the book. So thank you, Colin. And thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast featuring the real life stories of authors from around the world. And if you are interested in becoming an author like Colin, please do visit www.PublishU, the letter u.com, PublishU.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye for now.